ग्लोबल स्किल डेवलपमेंट मिशन में आपका स्वागत है।
As I alluded to in the previous exercise, Photoshop is loaded with all kinds of different color correction commands. Some of them very simple and straightforward, like the auto commands, the autocorrect commands, which we were introduced to in the previous exercise. Some of them very, very complex and very much on a high-end professional level, if you will. But I want to at least kind of get you going here. I want to show you the next color correction command. He's still in the, I would say, in the fundamental or the simple side of things. He's called brightness contrast. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to close out of the duplicates that you and I had gone and created in the previous exercise. Give me a second here. I'm just going to close these guys out. I'm going to go all the way back to just the niceview.jpg. Okay, so of course that is this fella here. You can zoom in on him a little bit if you want. Now from the image menu down to adjustments, here's the huge array of color correction commands we have available to us inside Photoshop. There's tons of them, okay? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you started here, as I promised, with brightness contrast. Here he is. You remember your old school television, maybe your grandparents still have one, and it has a brightness knob on it and a contrast knob on it, and you can kind of make Wheel of Fortune look crazy and goofy looking. That's what the brightness contrast command does for us. Okay, so we have a brightness slider and a contrast slider, and that's about it. Okay, so make sure that you have preview turned on, because that's going to give us an idea of what our image is going to look like here. And with this command, quite literally, we just start monkeying around with the brightness and the contrast sliders that we have available to us. That's it. This is why this guy kind of falls into the category of the more simple color correction commands, if that makes sense. Okay? Again, make sure that preview is turned on so we can see the result that we would actually get if we did indeed click on OK. All right. Now, a lot of these commands that you and I are going to be monkeying around with have an auto option. You can give that guy a try. Essentially, what that will do is it'll give you Photoshop's best guess, okay? And sometimes it does take a moment or two to render for us. There we go. So this is Photoshop's best guess at the brightness contrast. And actually, as a matter of fact, that doesn't look too bad. Here's a neat trick for you too, by the way. Oftentimes, I'll use this preview checkbox to give me a before and an after. Do I like that? Do I want to boost up the contrast just a little bit more? Do I want to drop down the brightness just a little bit more? You know, this sort of thing. Once you're happy, go ahead and click on OK, and that's it. All right. Now, bear in mind that if I were to save the image right now and close out of it, that's it. This is what I would refer to as destructive color correction inside Photoshop. A little bit later on, I'm going to show you some non-destructive methods for color correcting your images, which are not permanent changes. We can always go back, right? But as I say here, if I save and close this guy out, that's a permanent change. I can't go back. All right, with brightness contrast out of the way, there's a few other color correction tools that I want to introduce you to here inside Photoshop. Let's go and take a look at them.